Have you ever held a man's gaze and felt an inexplicable shift within you? It's more than just noticing someone looking your way. It's a moment that carries a strange weight, a spark of deep recognition, an unexpected jolt of intensity, or the unnerving sense that you've been truly seen, not just glanced at. We often brush these moments aside, chalking them up to imagination or wishful thinking. But what if these looks are never accidental? According to the legendary psychologist Carl Jung, a specific kind of gaze is a direct window into the deepest, most hidden layers of the human psyche. This isn't about a simple look of attraction or curiosity. We are delving into a powerful, nonverbal signal that points to a profound, unconscious connection happening just beneath the surface of awareness. This is about the psychological concepts of projection, the anima, and the journey toward wholeness. By the end of this video, you will learn how to recognize this specific look, understand its immense significance, and know exactly why you should never ignore it. To truly grasp the weight of that powerful, silent exchange, we first need to journey into the core of Jungian psychology, which begins with a humbling and often unsettling idea. We are not the sole masters of our own minds. Carl Jung proposed that our conscious awareness, the part of us that thinks, plans, and feels in control, is merely the tip of a vast psychological iceberg. The immense bulk of our psyche, what he termed the unconscious, operates below the surface, yet it is the primary force motivating our behavior, shaping our attractions, and influencing our perceptions without us ever realizing it. This unconscious realm is itself divided into two key parts: the personal unconscious, which contains our forgotten memories, repressed desires, and private experiences, and the collective unconscious, a deeper, universal layer we all share that is populated by innate, primordial patterns known as archetypes. It is from this hidden, dynamic depths that the phenomena we're exploring today emerge. This brings us to one of the most crucial mechanisms through which the unconscious reveals itself: projection. In Jung's framework, projection is the unconscious act of expelling a part of ourselves, typically a quality, emotion, or trait that we find uncomfortable, unacceptable, or simply unrecognized, and attributing it to someone else. We literally see our own unconscious content reflected in the people and world around us. It is a psychological sleight of hand that allows us to engage with these difficult aspects of ourselves at a safe distance, without having to consciously own them. A simple way to understand this is to imagine the human psyche as a movie projector. The film reel, containing all the stories, characters, and images, is housed within the machine itself, that is, inside your own unconscious. However, you don't see the reel, you see the projected image displayed on an external screen, which in this metaphor is another person. You believe the story you're seeing is entirely about them, when in reality, it is a story emanating from within you. This is why we can have instant, intense, and seemingly inexplicable reactions to people. They have become the unwitting screen for our own inner drama. When applying this specifically to the dynamic between a man and a woman, we must introduce Jung's concept of the anima. The anima is defined as the unconscious feminine side of a man's personality. It is not his biological gender or his outward personality, but rather an internal, archetypal image that represents all of his unconscious ideas, feelings, and impressions of the feminine principle. This inner figure is a composite, shaped over his lifetime by his earliest experiences with the feminine, most notably his mother, but also sisters, teachers, and other formative female figures, as well as by cultural norms, societal stories, and the powerful archetypes buried in the collective unconscious. For women, there is an analogous figure called the animus, which represents the inner masculine. However, for the purpose of understanding the specific power of the male gaze we're discussing, the focus is on the anima. This inner feminine image acts as a powerful filter, It profoundly influences how a man relates not only to the women in his life but also to his own emotions, his creativity, and his inner world. When a man encounters a woman who, often through no conscious effort of her own, embodies a key aspect of this buried anima image, a powerful projection is triggered. He isn't truly seeing the woman in front of him in her wholeness. He is seeing the living, breathing manifestation of his own unconscious soul image, and his reaction, that specific, penetrating look, is the visible sign of this profound internal encounter. So, what does this look actually look like in practice? It's crucial to understand that we are not talking about a glance of simple attraction or casual curiosity. This is something far more potent and specific. It is a gaze that carries a weight, a silent message from the unconscious that something significant is being activated within him. There are several distinct flavors this look can take, each revealing a different facet of this profound psychological encounter. One of the most striking manifestations is a look of pure awe and fascination. This is not a mere double take. His expression becomes captivated, almost stunned, as if he has witnessed something miraculous and inexplicable. He isn't just looking at you, he seems to be looking through you, or past the surface of your everyday self, as if he's seen a ghost or a goddess materialize before him. The Jungian meaning behind this specific gaze is that you have, in that moment, become the perfect mirror for his ideal, unconscious anima. You embody something he deeply yearns for, something he feels is missing from his conscious life and identity. This is his internal soul image staring back at him from the external world, and the look of awe is his psyche's reaction to this sudden, overwhelming recognition. It is the shock of the unconscious becoming momentarily visible. Then there is the look of unsettling recognition. This is characterized by an intense and immediate sense of familiarity, a puzzling depth of knowing that seems to defy the fact that you may have only just met. There is often a flicker of confusion or surprise that crosses his face, as if his conscious mind is struggling to compute a feeling that his unconscious has already accepted as truth. It's the feeling that you've known each other for 1,000 years. Jungian psychology interprets this as an encounter that transcends the personal and taps into the archetypal. In you, he doesn't just see an individual woman. He perceives a figure from the collective unconscious, a primordial image of the mother, the sorceress, the goddess, or the eternal lover. This is why such moments can feel so fated or destined. The connection feels ancient because it is operating on the level of shared, inherited human patterns, not just personal history. The look is one of archetypal resonance. A more subtle but equally powerful version is the look of mirrored vulnerability. This gaze is raw, unguarded, and carries a deep emotional charge. It is a moment where his usual social mask, what Jung called the persona, completely slips away. In his eyes, you might see a sudden and unexpected flash of profound sadness, longing, tenderness, or need, an emotion he is not showing to anyone else in the room. The Jungian significance here is that the anima is not just an image of the ideal feminine. She is also the conduit to a man's capacity for feeling, emotion, and relatedness. In that unguarded moment, the projection of his anima onto you has created a safe channel for his own vulnerability to surface. You are seeing a glimpse of his true, authentic self, the part connected to his inner feminine, which is usually shielded from the world. It is a look that says, unconsciously, I feel safe enough with you, or rather, with the soul image I project onto you, to show you my hidden self. Finally, there is the look of creative inspiration. This gaze is less emotional and more intensely focused, almost like a laser. He looks at you as if he is studying you to solve a complex puzzle, as an artist would stare at his muse, seeing not just a person but a form, a light, an idea that demands expression. It is a look of concentrated fascination, often accompanied by a sense of purpose or ignition. For Jung, The anima functions as the primary mediator between the conscious mind and the unconscious, and she is therefore the bridge to creativity, inspiration, and the symbolic world. When a man projects his anima onto a woman in this way, she literally becomes his muse. Her presence, or more accurately, the unconscious content she represents, activates his creative energy and gives him access to wells of inspiration that were previously hidden or blocked. The look is one of creative potential being unlocked through projection. Understanding the mechanics of this gaze is only the beginning. The real power lies in comprehending its immense implications for both the one who projects and the one who receives it. This moment of silent, powerful eye contact is far more than a social interaction. It is a critical juncture on the path of psychological development, and ignoring its significance can mean missing a profound opportunity for growth or, conversely, walking blindly into a psychological trap. For the man who is casting this projection, this encounter represents a pivotal opportunity for his own individuation, Jung's term for the lifelong process of becoming a whole, integrated individual by acknowledging and incorporating the contents of the unconscious. This look is a signal from his own psyche, a flare shot into the sky of his consciousness, attempting to illuminate a hidden part of himself. If he remains entirely unconscious of the mechanism at play, he will be controlled by the projection rather than informed by it. This is where great danger lies. He may become obsessed, believing the feelings of wholeness and fascination emanate solely from the woman he sees, placing her on an impossibly high pedestal as the source of his completion. This idealization is inevitably followed by devaluation, as the real, complex human being before him can never perfectly match the static, perfect fantasy of the internal anima image. The relationship, built on a fantasy, crumbles under the weight of its own unconscious expectations. However, if he can catch himself in the moment and become conscious of the projection, everything changes. He can learn to withdraw it by turning the question inward. What is it about her that captivates me so deeply? What missing, unlived, or unrecognized part of myself does she represent? This act of introspection is the very engine of integration. By recognizing that the qualities he admires and yearns for are latent within his own psyche, he can begin the work of reclaiming them, thereby integrating his anima and moving closer to becoming a more complete and self-aware person. For the woman on the receiving end of this powerful gaze, the implications are equally significant, though they play out differently. The first and most crucial point to internalize is that this look is not truly about you in your entirety. While it feels intensely personal and can be incredibly flattering or unnerving, it is fundamentally a story about his inner world. You are acting as a mirror, reflecting back to him a part of his own soul that he has not yet claimed. Understanding this is profoundly liberating. It removes the immense pressure to conform to an idealized image and frees you from the burden of feeling responsible for his psychological fulfillment or disappointment. His reaction is his to manage. Yet, while the projection may not be about your essential self, your reaction to it certainly is. This moment serves as a powerful call to your own self-reflection. Ask yourself, how does being seen this way make me feel? Does it make me feel powerful, objectified, truly seen, or perhaps uncomfortable? Your emotional response is a valuable mirror reflecting your own unconscious content, your relationship with your own animus, and your comfort level with certain archetypal roles. Are you comfortable being perceived as a muse? Does this dynamic trigger a desire to rescue or fix him? Your answers can reveal much about your own psychological landscape. This dynamic holds a dual potential, a fork in the road dictated entirely by the level of consciousness each person brings to it. If both individuals are aware of these underlying psychological currents, the powerful energy of the projection can be harnessed to fuel a truly transformational relationship. It becomes alchemical, a container for immense growth, creative collaboration, and a mutual, respectful exploration of the depths of the psyche. They can support each other in the work of individuation, consciously recognizing and appreciating the other not just as a person, but as a fellow traveler on the path to wholeness. Conversely, if both parties remain unconscious, mistaking the powerful archetypal charge for a simple, personal love story, they embark on a toxic roller coaster. The relationship will be governed by fantasy, manipulation, and the inevitable crushing disappointment when the projections eventually fade or break. The potential for emotional harm is immense when such powerful unconscious forces are mistaken for conscious, rational choice. Therefore, to ignore the meaning behind this look is to risk either missing a rare opportunity for profound connection or willingly stepping into a beautifully packaged psychological trap. So what do you do when you are on the receiving end of this powerful, silent message? How do you navigate a moment charged with such unconscious energy without losing your own footing? The key is to move from being a passive recipient to an unconscious observer, using the encounter as data for your own understanding rather than as a directive for your actions. The first and most important step is to simply pause and observe. When you feel the intensity of that gaze, consciously resist the urge to be immediately swept away by the flattery, the intrigue, or the unease it may generate. Instead, ground yourself in the present moment. Take a mental step back. This pause creates a crucial space between the stimulus, his look, and your response, allowing you to engage your awareness rather than your unconscious reactions. Within that space, practice keen discernment. This is the tool that will protect you and guide you. Ask yourself the critical question: does this feel like he is seeing me, the complex, real person with strengths and flaws, or is he captivated by an idea of me? Pay close attention to the interaction that follows. Does he express a genuine curiosity about your thoughts, your history, and your individuality? Or does his conversation tend to place you on a pedestal, using idealized language and seeming to overlook the mundane realities of who you are? The former suggests a budding human connection. The latter is a classic sign of projection at work. If the situation feels appropriate and safe, you have the option to gently hold up a metaphorical mirror. This isn't about accusing him of projecting, but about inviting curiosity. You might offer a gentle observation such as, "You seem very thoughtful," or, "You had a really intense look on your face just now. What's coming up for you?" A question like this does not force clarity, but it can act as a gentle prompt toward consciousness, encouraging him to reflect on his own internal state rather than simply externalizing it onto you. Regardless of his response, your primary responsibility is to protect your own energy. Remember that you are not responsible for his psychological journey or for fulfilling the role his unconscious has assigned to you. If the projection feels overwhelming, objectifying, or simply unhealthy, it is not only okay but essential to create firm boundaries or to walk away entirely. Your psychological well-being is paramount. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, you can choose to use this encounter for your own growth. Turn the lens of inquiry inward. Ask yourself why you were drawn to or captivated by that intensity. What does your reaction to being seen in this particular way reveal about your own inner world? Does it trigger a deep desire to be idealized, or does it make you feel uncomfortable and unseen? This interaction can be a powerful mirror for your own relationship with your inner masculine, or animus, and your own unconscious desires surrounding visibility, power, and connection. Every encounter, especially one this charged, holds valuable clues about our own psyche, waiting to be unpacked not for his sake, but for our own journey toward wholeness. That powerful, silent exchange is far more than a simple look. It is a profound event in the psychic field that exists between two people. It is a moment crackling with potential, a crossroads that can lead to incredible creativity or to painful destruction, but whose greatest value lies in its capacity to generate profound awareness. This gaze is a silent language of the soul, speaking volumes about the unseen forces that shape our attractions and our connections. When you encounter this depth of unconscious recognition in a man's eyes, the most important thing you can do is to refuse to ignore it. Do not dismiss it as mere attraction, and do not get lost in the fantasy it promises. Instead, learn to see it for what it truly is, a powerful call to consciousness. For him, it is a call to embark on the most important journey of all, the journey to integrate his soul, to reclaim his projections, and to become whole. For you, it is a call to remember your own inherent power and autonomy. It is a reminder that you are a complete individual, worthy of being seen in your full complexity, not a screen for another person's unresolved inner world. Ultimately, these charged encounters are the universe's way of inviting us to turn our gaze inward. They are mirrors held up to our own depths, asking us to confront the parts of ourselves we have yet to acknowledge and embrace. The most intense and transformative gaze you will ever hold is not with another person, but the one you share with the reflection of your own whole, complete, and authentic self. That is the true destination of this journey, the realization that wholeness was never something to be found in another's eyes, but something to be courageously built within.